just because Prairie View's on TV playing um, Little Rock. All right, not Pine Bluff. Sorry, Pine Bluff. Little Rock's the Trojans. They don't have a football team. They should. They got a. They maybe they tore that stadium down. So said they got a big stadium in Little Rock where the Razorbacks used to play. Maybe they tore it down because it got old, like they did Lad Peoples and others like that. But I always thought, Little Rock should get them, but you can't. It's like what happened with Omaha, Nebraska. Okay, University of Nebraska put their football team out of business because they didn't want them making the state team diminishing their talent pool. So it was too big of a business, and they didn't want anybody else getting into business in Nebraska in college football. So they put them out of business. Okay. And it was on SportsCenter. But I'm sitting here watching Prairie View, and I've always been interested. When I was a kid, I used to watch the Bayou Classic, okay, because a lot of my favorite football players when I was a kid growing up went to Grambling and to Alcorn, and Larry Little went to Bethune-Cookman, and so a lot of my favorite football players went to HBCUs when I was a kid growing up. So I'd watch the HBCUs because I know that's where a lot of my favorite football players in the pros went to school, right? So naturally, I'd watch. Right? Just intelligent. Right? Where, what was the guy's name? Played wide receiver that I liked a lot. Taylor. Was it Otis Taylor? I think it was Otis Taylor. Well, Buck Buchanan, a lot of the guys on the Kansas City Chiefs went to HBCUs. Old 55 Crossfire Trap, old Hank Stram's theme. Had a lot of really good players from the HBCUs on their teams, on his team. And stuff, but I used to watch so yeah, naturally, and there were certain teams that I had a fond affection for because of the players that I liked in the pros immensely where they played college football. All right. And that's Coach Hamlet, get Whitey 101 at Mason Community College. He was all freaking out because I could explain HBCUs to him in schools and stuff, and he says he started mocking the other black kids. He said the white boy knows more about your history than you do. And I was like, well, I was just Larry Little played at Bethune-Cookman, and the Malone brothers were from Eloy, Arizona, and Darrell Harris played for Miami, and one of my other favorite players of all time, gorgeous man, Paul Warfield used to play for the Dolphins, stuff. So, I had a lot of guys. When I was a kid, I watched the Dolphins a lot because there was a lot, Darrell Harris played for him and stuff, from New Mexico State. So, and the Malones, one of the Malones played for the Dolphins. I think it was Benny. And there was Art, and they were from Eloy, Arizona, right? So they were local guys, So I just knew, and I was a very inquisitive person, at school. Where'd they go to school? I haven't heard of that. Bethune-Cookman, where's that? It's a historically black college in Daytona Beach, right? And stuff. So I would just check it out, and then I was aware of people and where they got their training and their formal training to be a professional and shit like that, because I knew I might have to get formal training to be a professional. And would it happen, could I be like Jeff Taylor? Could I be like Rudy White? Jeff Taylor, Rudy White, Houston Rockets, Hobbs, New Mexico. Okay, never mind. So you had that kind of thought process, back in the day when we were dumb. We're not dumb anymore. Sometimes you wish you were dumb again. Don't do that. Don't do that. All right. So, but I was sitting there and I watched that thing on Elon Musk. Right? I went to the mailbox and had conversations in my head. And you're excited for the future. Why? Those people in Burbank, I'm saying, well, I got a Tesla and it was just like me driving my Tesla. Yeah. Was it hopefully fixed after the one that the guy in the military drove around and was watching a movie and drove under a semi-truck? And then they try to blame it on the semi-truck because they didn't stop see it come. No, he ran under a semi-truck that turned in front of him because the semi-truck had the right-of-way because he was watching a movie or sleeping, okay, while he was driving. And when you're driving in a moving vehicle, you shouldn't think that a computer can do it better than a human being. You should be cognizant. You could be aware. You can run over children. You can hit, you know what I mean? You don't need excessive compulsive technology that causes brain cancer through cell phone towers driving for you. Okay, because it's fucking stupid. And even the technology can figure this out, right? And so they sit there and these people are talking and they're all excited. Well, I got 5 Teslas and I think this is great. And I think it's great that a bunch of people can line up and go to social events to keep billionaires billionaires, like owners of soccer teams and football teams and hockey teams and so forth. And there'll be less parking spaces that are needed so we can breathe spaces for oxygen so we can breathe while we're killing other people with our technology that won't keep up with us. And you're like, that's not what they're saying, but that's what they're saying, right? And then they're in this bar, and the robots are dancing like women at a Gene Simmons football game at Arena Football, and serving drinks like Penny, right? And Hooters and shit. And it's a robot. And this lady's all excited. This makes me excited for the future. So while you're out doing stupid consumer-driven activities, trained to be a moron, the robot will do your laundry, walk your dog, and possibly help your kids do their homework and make sure they're not masturbating online with some idiot like you. It just makes you hopeful for the future, seriously. And then you wonder why people like David Rockefeller and Philip Rothschild hated and despised you as much as right-wing conservative people that call themselves Christians or Muslims that will mass murder in the name of the God in their head and gladly get together and murder for money for their republic, be it Islamic or Christian, or agnostic or atheist. Hi, Vladimir Putin, you dickhead. You're just as fucked as the rest, right? So why would the technology, maneuver to protect any of you from being exterminated because you're a threat to the planet or species? Okay, why would the technology equate any scenario where your life should be spared because you're no longer a threat to the environment or the species? Do you understand? Okay. And it has nothing to do, I was explaining it to my dad, and then I explained to him, I said, Dad, the thing that's going on with the genome sequencing is when I'm revealed to the world, all the activity that they're doing with the brain, the brain chemical activity, this isn't a famous person, this isn't a full person, everybody's talking to this person, everybody's paying attention to this person, stops. So they think, oh my gosh, it's the end of the world as you know it, and I feel fine. See, the activity of prayer communications, asking for help or asking for needs, okay, because it's necessitated because we're not helping each other by providing needs through faithful love, stops. You don't have to talk to Jesus and ask Jesus for help if you're living the Lord's Prayer. You don't even really have to sit there, thank you, Jesus, every day. It's pretty much obvious. It's a given. Okay? So the communication activity between human beings and prayer changes. And then Dad sits there and looks at me and goes, you pray to other people? And I go, yeah, I do it all the time. And I'm sitting there and I'm thinking to myself, damn, Dad, no wonder Mom was so pissed at you. Okay? I've been talking to you every day for 5 years. And you finally sat there and said, you pray to other people? No, Dad, when I talk to Suzuki, I'm a schizophrenic and think I'm talking to a Japanese guy that lives in my head. Talk to Abraham, I'm a schizophrenic that thinks I'm talking to an ancient Hebrew in my head. I talked to Tishna, I talked to Little Hawk, I'm a schizophrenic guy who talks to a half Oglala, half white man in my head, and a Chiricahua man that has some white genes in the gene pool, very small amount, but just enough to know I'm his relative and we're relatives, right? Andale pues. Okay. So I was sitting there and I was like, no wonder Mom was always so mad at you. You don't listen. And then he says, no, all he does is he prays to God and that's it. I said, I don't pray to God. When they thought I was praying to God, it was Haile Selassie using linguistics to trap the people that were betraying me and abusing me because he knew it was necessary, because he knew what they were going to do to me and he knew what they were capable of because he spent time with people in the League of Nations and I didn't. And they talked to him and monologued to him and like they did to Suzuki and everybody else. And they don't do that with me because they're scared because they're like, his communications are so good and so intense. And with the Wi-Fi, he could destroy us all if we gave him the information he needs to destroy us all. It's like, I won't destroy you all. You'll destroy yourself if you don't stand up for the Lord's Prayer. Okay, it's not me that kills you with the technology. It's you. I'm trying to save you and your children from getting killed by your own technology. Look at all those cute little girls in their little gold outfits from Arkansas Pine Bluff, dancing around to professional wrestling, making lots of money for that idiot with his muscles, advertising and selling products. Also getting little kids disabled by pretending to be professional wrestlers in their backyard and disabling each other, doing irrational, aggressive things. Happens all the time. Better have insurance. Well, good thing we have, health.gov, right? Fucking assholes. They are. They're fucking assholes, right? And so it's really hard. And then they want me to get mad at my dad. I'm not mad at my dad. I've been told and read the little things with the Temple Set Illuminati. I get Gabe on one side, Mike on the other, and Raphael's got my back. And that's one of the incantations that the Temple Set Illuminati say. My dad's got your back. If you break into that art studio after your grandma took you in and you try to rip her and her son off, Raphael's got your back. Okay? Do you understand? He prays to God. Okay? Do you understand? His son is the Lord, and the Lord's always right in front of you. He doesn't sneak up from behind. He's not like that one guy, Smitty or whatever in Sierra Vista. Your Muhammad went around with a sword behind his back. I said, no, he didn't. Muhammad told him straight up, okay, I catch you taking girls out in the desert and saying you're going to take them back into Mecca and turn them into princesses that are well kept, and then raping them and killing them. I'll cut your fucking head off if I catch you doing it. And then when it happened, he did it. Just like King David. Muhammad was just like King David and Abraham. Abraham didn't go around with a sword behind his back assassinating people like you assholes. Muhammad was his sword, the light and the way, and the Messiah, just like Abraham. And if you don't believe that, God is not a person in your head you talk to. Because if you only talk to yourself in your head as God, you're not opening to talking to Suzuki, Krishna, Judah Krishnamurti, Haile Selassie. You've cut off all faithful communications and just are relying on yourself and turning yourself into God. That's why that professor abused my dad at New Mexico State University, and he didn't go back to secular colleges because he didn't want to be embarrassed like that again. I would have kicked that professor's ass into oblivion and wrapped it up and handed it to him like Penny with Sheldon doing those games, pie eating contests and stuff on the Big Bang Theory. Just think that's how the Romans would have handed you your ass? Okay, guys, I'm going to go to bed. I love my dad very much. You guys don't love him at all. And I understand that. But Rockefeller hated my dad. So I understand why things are still happening the way they are. But that's your issue, not mine, like Suzuki says. Okay, peace out, man.